It's not what you think.
For multi-award winners, Heartstrings Entertainment opens 2020 with a bang with the rip-shattering comedy play Good for Nothing. 6th to 9th of February at Alliance Francaise Auditorium. 6:30 p.m. weekdays, 3 and 6:30 p.m. weekend, and an extra show at 8:30 p.m. on Friday 7th and Saturday 8th. Charges 699. Buy one and get one free for the show on 6th. Call for reservation on 0718 or 0722 7455 for one. Good for Nothing is a Heartstrings Entertainment hit comedy play by the man himself, Sammy Mwangi.
Kenya imetoka kwa gurudumu.
Naona baba akisema ya kwamba handshake sio ya kurudi nyuma, ni kusonga mbele.
As a consequence, the opposition became a casualty.
Opposition exists very effectively where it's supposed to be.
NASA is history.
Oh, the Raila's about town. About town where? This report was not Raila's report.
What I'm doing with Uhuru, we are doing it for posterity for this country. It is not for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga does not have to be the president of Kenya.
Looking to enjoy sumptuous meals and drinks at affordable rates? Welcome to Nasco's. Our diverse menu gives you a variety to choose from. Visit us at Veteran House 4th floor, Moi Avenue, or along Mombasa Road at the Nation Printing Press Center. We offer outside catering service and do home and office deliveries. For inquiries or to place an order, call 0700-613-902 or email info@nascos.co.ke. Nation Staff Consumer Society Limited. Enjoy our hospitality.
Kupika kila mtu ajipikie yake. Na vyombo za nani? Kwa nani?
Am I not getting some?
Ice cream ya wageni. Wewe nitakuletea maji kwa jikoni.
A girl's gotta eat to keep up with you, Mr. Guns.
Well, that's absolutely correct.
This festive season, get a decoder with subscription at an unbelievable festive offer of only 1,499 shillings. You can also pay 1 month and enjoy 2 weeks free on a higher bouquet. For more information, call 0719-077-077.
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Sonadol Extra imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli kupambana haraka na maumivu ya kichwa, mwili na hata meno. Sonadol Extra, hakika maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele, tusonge mbele.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge Mbele bundles at affordable prices.
NTV, turning on your world.
All right, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us this 26th day of January 2020. My name is Zainab Ismail. You're watching NTV at 1. And of course, we have all the stories making headlines across the country and beyond. We also have our reporters on the ground. Our Kennedy Mureithi, our political affairs reporter, is in Mombasa County. This is, of course, after the BBI rally that was held yesterday in Mombasa. We also have Daniel Mule, who is currently at the AIC Milimani, where President Uhuru Kenya Kenyatta and his deputy are currently attending a particular function there. We'll be joining him to get more details on the same. We also have other stories making headlines politically and, of course, looking at the season that we're in. But before that, we'll cross over live to Daniel Mule, where President Uhuru Kenyatta is currently there. Deputy President William Ruto is also there, and they are among other political leaders, the clergy and congregation attending the installation service for the new presiding bishop AIC Kenya, Reverend Abraham Mulwa of the Africa Inland Church. And of course, Bishop Mulwa takes over from Reverend Dr. Silas Yego, who has been at the helm of the church leadership for 16 years. Speeches are currently underway. Let's just listen in.
Zainab, actually now it's official that we have a new presiding bishop for AIC Kenya, and that is Abraham Mulwa, who is actually giving his maiden speech right now as we speak inside the church. We'll be going there to listen in to some of the other speeches, and he is taking over from Dr. Silas Yego, who has been at the helm of the church leadership for the last 18 years, and also in attendance is the president, as you said, the deputy president, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, a number of cabinet secretaries, including Magoha, including also the one for Interior, Matiang'i is also here, among other dignitaries who are attending this function. And right now, after that speech, the leadership or the politicians will also be given a chance to speak. I've seen Kipchumba Murkomen, I've seen Mtula Kilonzo Jr., among other senators who will also get a chance to give their speeches. So we will be giving you that live from here so that you can listen to some of those speeches. Also, what came up, some of the things that have also come up in today's function is that AIC Kenya has been under the leadership of Silas Yego for all that time. So right now, it's also something that the AIC Kenya is saying that they're expecting to have new changes in the church, and they say that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto are part of those who have been supporting this church, especially when it comes to the construction and things to the infrastructure. They have been giving their contributions to this church, and also the first president of this country, Jomo Kenyatta, was also part of those who had envisioned to have this church here. Daniel Arap Moi is also credited for being part of those who laid the foundation stone of this church and also gave a lot of contributions to ensure that this church is constructed, as well as many other AIC Kenya churches in the country. Remember that during those days, the Moi days, we used to have AIC. I used to have Moi attending church here at AIC Milimani every other Sunday, and he was so passionate about this church, and he really supported it, especially financially. So right now, Mulwa is giving his acceptance speech, which is the maiden speech, after being installed as the presiding bishop of AIC Kenya, taking over from Silas Yego. So in a short while, we'll be listening in to some of those speeches. So for now, I'll take you back to studio so that I go back in, and then we'll be getting some of those speeches coming to you live from AIC Milimani, Kenya.
Thank you so much, Daniel Mule, and of course, he'll be bringing us more details on that. Now, the BBI rallies have presented an opportunity for politicians to state what they would want to see changed in the constitution. One of the proposals exciting governors is a proposal to add another tier of government. Our senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Mureithi is still in Mombasa and speaks to Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala on this. And Kennedy, what is the mood really with regards to some of these issues that have been raised in these rallies?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Zainab, and it is an interesting thing that you've even asked that question. Is this conversation has not just started here in Mombasa. It is a conversation that was started in Kisii when the BBI rally started. It picked up in Kakamega, and now here in Mombasa it was amplified when most of the governors who were given an opportunity to speak actually spoke of the fact that they need this regional representation. This conversation was started 2 years ago, again in Kakamega, by former Prime Minister and ODM leader Raila Odinga when he addressed the devolution conference. And in his address, Raila Odinga was very categorical that it was time that the country thought of another tier of government, and this is another tier of representation. There was a bit of a lull when that conversation started, but with these BBI 2 rallies that have already started and going around the countries, it seems to be gaining momentum. And yesterday we actually even saw one of the recommendations from the coastal people that were read through Governor Amason Kingi of Kilifi is that they want representation that is regional. But what is not coming out clear is whether they will be using the economic blocks that they do have right now as the counties to advance this agenda, or we will be taking the form of representation that was the 8 provinces, and there will be 8 regional governors or whatever they will be called at that particular time, so that they will be representing and they will be retaining the structure of representation that is the 47 county governments. It is a conversation that is just starting, and coming this week it will be interesting to see how will this conversation pick. But yesterday I was having a conversation with Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala, who immediately after the rally at the Mamangina grounds approached me and said this is not something that is workable. But we just want to hear from him. What are your comments on this, and why do you say that it is not something that is workable, introducing the third tier of government?
First of all, I must say that we need to remain cognizant of the fact that we exist in a already constitutionally formed environment, and the promulgated Constitution of 2010 clearly stated under Article 174 the objects of devolution, and one of the objects of devolution was to enhance self-governance to communities, to protect minority communities. If we go back to the defunct provincial system, I think we shall be not working in the spirit of the objects of devolution. We shall be weakening devolution as it is right now, and we all want counties to be empowered. We will still achieve what the governors want to achieve through the regional governments, through the economic blocks that have already started forming. We have, like in Western region, we have the Lake Region Economic Block, which to me, I think those economic blocks will still achieve the objectives of what the governors are pushing. And I want to state here that I think the push for the regional governments is purely an egocentric agenda from the second-term governors who still want to be in power. So I would want to request them that let this constitutional audit and constitution review process that has been initiated through BBI, let us not have egocentric agendas in it. Let us have proposals which are going to help this nation, not for now, but even for the coming generations.
But then again, you must have realized as a politician that when a conversation started, the only thing that people need to first of all agree on is that let us change the constitution, and some of these proposals were bound to come. But one of them, you're saying that it is egocentric, but to them they're looking at political survival, and that is what politicians do. Probably you are a young legislator. If it so happens that you're given an opportunity to serve, and by the time you're given an opportunity by the Kenyans to serve 10 years, you're still young, do you retire from politics, or do you then again go into this representation that is going to be given?
All these politicians should remain alive to the fact that they need to give space to even the young politicians who are coming up. They can never be in leadership all their life. They need to take cognizant of the fact that they are in leadership right now. Let them do whatever they can do during their time. If they are done, they'll move on. Barack Obama was the president. He retired at a very early age. He has moved on. He's doing other things. So let them not have this mentality that they must remain in leadership forever. And therefore, as a young leader and as a person who was chosen or elected to represent the young people, I am really against this idea of harboring leadership which has already served for a very long time. We've seen people who are elected 20, 30 years ago still wanting to remain in power. Let them give space for the young leadership which is mushrooming.
Well, Zainab, it's still a conversation that is started, and just as we've said, it was yesterday when that proposal was given, and we also saw that even Amason Kingi, that is the governor of Kilifi, making a proposal that if it is possible, let us even split the coast region to be in two, so that probably he gets one side of it and Governor Joho gets the other side. There were also proposals that we should expand government and have 9 top seats that are going to accommodate each and every person. So it is a conversation, and there are varied reasons or there are varied suggestions that are coming up, and it is something that we want to keep a close eye on as we prepare our evening bulletin so that we can give an incisive view on what really happening. We are going to have the Mwananchi voice. We're going to have some of the leaders speak into this story just to get an understanding and a full understanding of where do they want to go. Next week, the BBI rallies go into the Lower Eastern, and as they also consolidate and make sure that they go through the country by the end of February so that they can see whether a referendum could be held in this year. It is a conversation that is started, and NTV will be part of this conversation. Back to you, Zainab, in studio.
Right, thank you so much, Kennedy Mureithi, for that, and of course a very interesting conversation on how it will be panning out in the next couple of days. In the last 1 year, 33 people have lost their lives to terrorism along the Kenya-Somali border, most of who were security personnel. Another 6 people were kidnapped in Wajir County alone as suspected Al-Shabaab militia intensified attacks in the north. Nordin Elmoge reports.
The extent of the damage the militia group has inflicted on counties along the Kenya-Somali border is not fully known, but education, health, communication and the transport sector have been greatly affected. This has left the local population living in constant fear of attacks, but concern is growing. The local communities bear the greatest responsibility for the attacks because many of the perpetrators are known to the locals but are often unreported.
90% of this security issue can be handled by the local community. 10% is for the security. That is why we are working with the community. As a community, we want to make sure people do not harbor, do not give tea, do not give water to any persons who are inflicting wounds or causing problems for their security.
Let's be a bit more proactive. Let us, the information that we have or the information that will be held should be held in trust with the public. Let there be public confidence between the public and the security, and whatever information that we get should be held in trust by the government and should be properly utilized so that we can be able to avert any actions of it.
In the last few weeks, there have been a series of meetings by different groups to sensitize the communities about homegrown terror and why they must participate in the war against violent extremism.
Sisi wote ni askari. Ukwera safari hii hakuna kusema askari na raia. Sisi wote ni askari. Ikiwa sheikh wewe ni askari, lete raboti. Ikiwa wewe ni politician wewe ni askari. Ikiwa wewe ni askari wewe ni askari. Ikiwa wewe ni media wewe ni askari. Sisi wote ni askari kulinda nchi yetu.
The religious leaders say this campaign against terrorism will continue in the mosque and madrasas as part of effort to address radicalization of the younger population. Nurdin Almoge, NTV, Wajir County.
Well, still matters security. Garissa residents are calling on security apparatus to move with speed and apprehend those behind the recent terror incidents in the area, even if it means crossing over to Somalia. Speaking after a peace procession in Garissa, activists condemned the attack on school children and teachers. Locals were advised against becoming sympathizers and at the same time urged to share information that will help the government in cracking down on extremist groups. The peaceful procession was aimed at educating members of the public to work with government agencies in the fight against terror, which has affected the region. 2 weeks ago, 3 teachers from Kamudhei Primary School were shot dead and another one sustained injuries by suspected Al-Shabaab who raided the institution. A week earlier, 4 school children at Saretho were also killed following a dawn attack.
Nahuzunika walimu wanamalizwa, nahuzunika watoto wanamalizwa bila sababu, na hatuwezi kubali kutofautisha. Sisi na Wakenya wengine tuko kibinadamu kimoja. Sisi ni Wanakenya, tumeumbwa pamoja na Adha na Hawa.
Wanatugonganisha katika Wakenya, sisi na Wakenya wengine. Walimu zetu, madaktari yetu wanawawa bila sababu yoyote. Na sisi hatuwezi kubali ya kwamba walimu zetu na madaktari zetu ziwawe na sisi tukae. Hatuwezi kubali kitu kama hiyo.
Kuhusu hii uandui ukomeshwe. Na hii uandui ukikomeshwa, nyinyi wazee wa Garissa, vijana wa Garissa, wazee, toeni hao watu wako miongoni mwenyu, muwalete hapa nje. na mkiwalete tutasaidiana na nyinyi kuwazuia ili wasifanye shambulizi.
The theme of this thing is to build resilience and among our community and to make sure that the youth are not recruited by the violent extremism group, because they are the most vulnerable people that this team use.
Well, at the same time, residents of Baringo South are battling a fresh malaria outbreak, with the most affected area being Ilchamus ward. The outbreak is attributed to the rainfall that led to flooding last year in Ngambo, Salambani and Ilngarua locations. Ilngarua Chief Jacob Letangule said that the outbreak has affected a number of residents, with each homestead having someone who is sick. He called upon the county government through the Ministry of Health to immediately supply mosquito nets and drugs to mitigate the spread of malaria. Patients at Marigat Sub-County Hospital have been forced to share beds since the facility is overcrowded following the increase in the number of people being admitted. The residents are being urged to enroll for the National Hospital Insurance Fund to cushion them from high cost of health services.
Madaktari hapa Ilngarua ni wachache. Kwa sasa tuko na 3 nurses hapa Ilngarua Health Center. Na tunaomba kwamba tuongezewe madaktari ili tuweze kukabiliana na mambo ya janga hili la malaria ambayo inahitaji dharura.
Nilienda leo hospitali, nilipata watu wakilala wawili kwa kitanda kwa sababu ya malaria. Kwa hivyo watu wetu tunaendelea kufundisha umuhimu wa NHIF ili waweze kukata.
Ministry of Health wakuje watoe huduma ya haraka kwa sababu ya hii malaria outbreak. Ukienda hospitali ya Marigat sahi malaria watu wanalala, Kabarnet na hii dispensary zote. Shortage of drugs kwa sababu ya malaria.
All right, now counterfeit maize flour from a wholesale retail shop in Kongowea Market in Embu County has been seized by the police. Security officers and officials from Joy Millers Limited raided the shop and confiscated tens of bales of counterfeited Raha premium flour following a tip-off from members of the public. The shop's owner was arrested and is expected to be arraigned on Monday. Directors at Joy Millers Limited say they took action after suspecting their brand was being counterfeited following numerous complaints by customers who cited poor quality of the maize flour. The miller stated last year that it had been hit by a wave of counterfeit flour until it was forced to rebrand and repackage, incurring millions of shillings in extra expenditure. One person died on the spot this morning after 4 vehicles were involved in a road accident at Kiungwani area near Sultan Hamoud town along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway. The accident occurred when one truck collided head-on with another truck heading in the opposite direction as it was trying to overtake other vehicles. The impact of the collision resulted in an explosion. On the same road, 2 people died on the spot on Saturday morning after a Nairobi-bound bus was involved in an accident at Nkomi area near Sultan Hamoud town on Mombasa-Nairobi highway. The driver of the bus lost control of the vehicle, veering off the road before falling on one side. 4 people were seriously injured while 14 escaped with minor injuries in the accident and were rushed to Kilome Hospital for treatment.
Unfortunately, a total of 4 motor vehicles. This is 3 trailers and 1 private vehicle.
All right, just going back to our earlier story where we told you President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, Dr. William Ruto, are among political leaders and the clergy currently attending the installation service for the new presiding bishop, AIC Kenya, Reverend Abraham Mulwa of the Africa Inland Church. That is in Milimani. Let's just cross over live and listen in. The president is speaking.
You have been a worthy servant of your master. You have multiplied it, and you are handing over to the incoming bishop a much larger church, a more grounded church, and I am certain that he too will be able to take it to even newer and greater heights. It has been a pleasure, Bishop, working with you. It has been an honor working with you. I can vouch that I stand today in front of a man who loves this country. Yes, he loves his God, but he also loves his country. I can stand and testify of a man who has gone out of his way to see peace and to bring healing where people have been divided. And I believe that God has his reward in store for you. But I also agree with Bishop Mulwa ya kwamba hata kama tunagojea malipo ya Mwenyezi Mungu, sisi ambao tuko hapa lazima na sisi pia tufanye yale ambayo tuwaweza. Tusigojee hiyo tunataka iwe postponed for some time. Lakini ya hapa sisi pia tutafanya yale ambaye tuwaweza kuhakikisha ya kwamba mzee kama huyu anaweza kuendelea kufanya kazi ya Mungu na kazi ya wananchi vile amekuwa akifanya miaka hiyo yote. Kwako Bishop Mulwa, you're filling a huge pair of shoes, but I am certain that you have the capacity. I am certain that you will have the support of your church, and I today confirm that you shall have my support and that of my government. As you continue to do the extraordinary works that are before you. I have always said that church and state go hand in hand. On the one hand, you preach to save souls. We seek to serve man here on earth. But man on earth with no soul, or a soul with no life, is not a human being, is not a person. So as we save souls, we must also give health care. We must also educate. We must also find jobs. We must also find good housing. We must also make sure that we can work together to make their life as good as it possibly can as we wait for the other kingdom. And I want to appreciate the very strong role that the church continues to play in supporting government in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, in terms of counseling, especially our young people, on how to live and how to be. It has been tremendous support, and we shall continue to work together, because I believe that a nation that puts God first is a nation that is bound to prosper, is a nation that is bound to be peaceful. And Kenya, since our independence, has always started, as our first stanza in our national anthem says, O God of all creation. We will continue to partner with you. We will continue to work with you. We will continue to support you as we seek your support to bring peace to our people, to bring unity and understanding amongst our people, and to bring prosperity to our people through giving health and other such things that are necessary for our country to grow. I don't want to speak much. I believe that the bishop who gave the sermon today, I think spoke for all of us, and I think that that sermon does not just apply to our two friends. I think it was a call to duty for all of us who are in leadership. It was a call to duty for all of us who are in leadership. But we must sit and ask ourselves why. Why we have been called to duty. We have been asked, to serve, and we have been to get to a leadership position. Unajua wengine wanauliza mtu amefika hapo kwa njia gani? Ni Mungu tu, hakuna mwingine. Kupata mtu kutoka kona hiyo mpaka kona ile ingine mpaka kona ingine na anasema ni yule, sio mchezo jameni. Sio mchezo. Ni Mungu peke yake ambaye ako na huo uwezo. Tuseme yote ambayo tunataka kusema, lakini ni Mungu peke yake. Na tusijione ya kwamba tumewekwa hapo kwa sababu yetu sisi. Tumewekwa hapo ndio tumtumikie, na kumtumikia Mwenyezi Mungu ni kutumikia jirani yako na wale ambao wako chini yako. That is the only way you can serve God. So friends, leo sio siku yangu ya kuongea mengi, ni siku ya furaha. Nilikuwa nataka kugojea mpaka dakika ya mwisho, lakini nilikuwa nimeambia Bishop Emeritus ya kwamba nilikuwa na shughuli nyingine, na hii ni shughuli ya kifamilia. Sasa nikikosa kwenda nitaambiwa, sasa wewe kila siku tunakuwa na shughuli, wewe hufiki. Na unajua si ati mtu atakuwa kazi.
All right, there you have it, President Uhuru Kenyatta at the AIC Milimani. And of course, Daniel Mule is currently there, and of course he'll be bringing us a more detailed report later on. Away from that, traders in Kongowea Market in Mombasa County are counting losses after a fire incident gutted down a section of the market. The fire is said to have started in a section housing clothes and spread out quickly towards other areas. NTV's Coast reporter Kevin Mutai now reports that investigations are underway to establish the cause of the inferno.
The fire broke out at around 11 o'clock Saturday night and razed a section of Kongowea Market. Some of the traders claim that the fire started from one of the stalls which houses mitumba clothes and spread out quickly towards the nearby shops. A number of stalls and other structures were gutted down with nearly nothing left for salvage. It took time for the firefighters to arrive at the scene, and when they did, their fire engines ran out of water, proving difficult for them to contain the situation. They, however, battled with the fire for several hours before completely putting it off. Traders claim that harsh winds contributed to spreading of the fire. Property of unknown value was destroyed at the market. Investigations have begun to ascertain the cause of the fire as traders struggle to come to terms to losses they encountered, running into millions of shillings. Kongowea Market is the largest market in Mombasa County, as well as the entire coast region where thousands of traders operate. It is also one of the biggest revenue earners to the county government. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Well, as competition in the smartphone market gets stiffer, mobile phone manufacturers are forced to constantly be innovative in order to remain competitive in the market. Chinese manufacturer Huawei has launched the Nova F5T under the Nova series. The phone boasts of 5 A1 cameras and targets Android users who are looking for a long-lasting fast-charge battery, and also has an extended storage capacity of 128 GM. Well, for a clearer picture on the post-election and pre-handshake interaction between Deputy President and Raila Odinga. We invite you to join us live tonight at 9 p.m. when NTV's Joseph Orungo will sit down with the ODM party leader to discuss a host of issues, including the events that led up to the handshake. Here's more of what you can expect.
Kenya imetoka kwa gurudumu. Naona baba akisema ya kwamba handshake sio ya kurudi nyuma, ni kusonga mbele.
As a consequence, the opposition became a casualty.
Opposition exists very effectively where it's supposed to be.
NASA is history. Oh, the Raila's about turn where? This report was not Raila's report.
What I'm doing with Uhuru, we are doing it for posterity for this country. It is not for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga does not have to be the president of Kenya.
There you have it. Definitely not. You cannot be missing this interview that will be airing tonight. The hashtag that we're using is Raila Speaks. So you can start tweeting us at NTV Kenya at J Warungu. We'll be sampling the views and of course taking a look at some of the issues that we would like to be raised during that particular conversation. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with much more.
Kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele, kisha tusonge mbele, tusonge mbele.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge mbele bundles at affordable prices.
Molfix breathable surface developed with airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
It feels good, Coca-Cola and food, Monday to Sunday. We're all chasing taste. Let's just grab a bite, the excuse to drink Coca-Cola. Every single day. So we feel forever be real. Together stay free, whatever ends. No, we can't stop. We wanna taste the feeling. Nothing can ever bring us down. Taste the feeling.
Did you know? We've steered over 500,000 youth across the continent to brighter futures. Absa Group, serving Kenya as Barclays.
Kenya imetoka kwa gurudumu. Naona baba akisema ya kwamba handshake sio ya kurudi nyuma, ni kusonga mbele.
As a consequence, the opposition became a casualty.
Opposition exists very effectively where it's supposed to be.
NASA is history. Oh, the Raila's about turn where? This report was not Raila's report.
What I'm doing with Uhuru, we are doing it for posterity for this country. It is not for Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga does not have to be the president of Kenya.
A very good Sunday afternoon to you. Time to see what's happening in the world of sport. I'm Ida Waringa. And the National Rugby Sevens team finished 8th in the Hamilton leg of the World Rugby Series after collecting 10 points in New Zealand. Shujaa lost their 7th place playoff match 19-17 to Argentina early Sunday morning.